The first time her mother handed me a dirty dish, I thought nothing of it. We were hosting. Someone had to help. By the fourth time, while the rest of them were sipping wine and talking over each other in the dining room, I realized I wasn't part of the dinner. I was staff. Her father whistled at me. Actually whistled to bring more ice. Her sister didn't look up from her phone when she asked if I could reheat the bread. And my wife? Madison just smiled at me like it was all perfectly normal. Like this was my place. I'd been standing for over an hour, moving between the kitchen and their endless requests. No one offered to help. No one even said thank you. They were too busy passing stories about European vacations and golf club drama. Madison's cousin joked that I should get a tip jar. Laughter. Real laughter. My name wasn't mentioned once the entire night unless someone needed something. When dessert came out, store-bought tiramisu I'd picked up on my lunch break. It was already clear they didn't expect me to join. Her mother placed the tray on the table and waved me toward the kitchen again. "Could you handle the plates?" she asked, not even pretending it was a question. I didn't move. I was still holding the wine bottle, standing just behind Madison's chair. That's when her brother chuckled and said, "Honestly, Mads, where did you find him? He's like the family butler. Does he even talk?" That got their attention. I poured the wine slowly into Madison's glass. Then I looked around the table, and I finally spoke. "Funny you should ask. Because starting tomorrow, most of you won't have anything to laugh about." They stared like I'd spoken a foreign language. Madison glanced up, smile frozen, confused. "Excuse me," her mother said. I set the bottle down and reached into my jacket pocket. A simple manila envelope. I dropped it on the table with a dull thud. Madison's face drained of color. She knew what that envelope was. She just didn't know how much I'd added to it. "Before dessert, I figured I'd leave you with something a little more memorable," I said. "That folder contains documents you'll want to review before the morning." "Is this some kind of joke?" her father asked. "No, it's an audit." Still silence, until Madison whispered, "What did you do?" I looked at her, carefully, the way you look at something you used to love before it proved itself toxic. I reviewed the last 18 months of transactions between our joint accounts and the family ventures you pushed me to invest in. Turns out, I was funding 3 of your relatives' failing businesses. Loans, gifts, co-signed leases, some of them forged, some just stupid, but all of them traceable. Her sister blinked. "What are you talking about?" I opened the folder, pulled out a document. This is the lease agreement for your boutique in Soho. Madison told me it was backed by her brand partnership. Funny, because this signature here, it's mine, but I never signed it. Her mouth opened, closed, then opened again. Nothing came out. "Your husband co-signed," I said flatly. "You just didn't tell him." Madison reached for my arm. "Let's talk about this later." "No, we talk now. You made me your bank. Your family made me their errand boy. You all treated me like a background prop at my own table. And I let it happen. But that ends tonight." Her father slammed his hand on the table. "You don't come into my house and threaten my family." I smiled. "This isn't your house. It's mine. I bought it last year, under a holding company you've never heard of. Madison wanted to renovate. I wanted control." Now they were listening. "You're bluffing," her cousin muttered. I handed him a second sheet. Property transfer, legally filed, notarized. All tied back to a silent shell company with a name only I knew. Her mother stood up. "Why are you doing this?" "Because I'm done being polite," I said. "Done pretending this is a partnership. You've all drained me like I'm disposable. You laughed when I was quiet. Now you'll beg when I'm not." Madison's face was pure panic. "Please, don't do this in front of them." I leaned down close, so only she could hear. "You chose the audience the minute you let them treat me like a servant." Then I stood up straight, nodded to the stunned table, and walked out. Left them with their uneaten dessert and a folder full of legal ruin. The fallout? That came later, and it was brutal. The first call came at 7:14 a.m. Blocked number. I let it ring. The second came 10 minutes later. "Madison." I answered, not because I wanted to hear her voice, but because I knew she'd already read everything. "You blindsided them," she said, voice tight with fury and panic. "No," I replied calmly. "I gave them clarity, something you've all lacked. They're family. So was I." Silence. She started again, softer now. "Can we meet? Just you and me." I told her I'd think about it, then hung up. That day moved fast. Her cousin's lease, the one tied to a fake rental application with my forged signature, was terminated by noon. His shop closed by the afternoon. My attorney had filed a claim for restitution and identity misuse by 3 p.m. By 5, her sister's boutique Instagram had vanished. Turns out, the bank Madison claimed was funding it had pulled out 2 weeks ago. She'd used one of my lines of credit to bridge the gap. Unauthorized, of course. She tried to say it was temporary, that she was going to pay it back. But the money never came back. Her father was the loudest. I got his voicemail that evening, rage mixed with desperation. He wanted to talk, man to man, he said. He wanted to clear the air. What he really wanted was to get ahead of the lawsuits and liens. I didn't respond. My attorney did. By day 3, Madison's mother sent an email, first polite, then emotional. She used words like family misunderstanding, emotional strain, and let's find common ground. I forwarded it to my lawyer without reading the rest. By Friday, the requests had shifted from anger to apology. Half of them were suddenly eager to talk. Her brother offered to meet in private. Her cousin texted, saying he didn't know the full picture. Her mother sent flowers. Twice. It was never about me. They didn't care about the man. They cared about the wallet. And now that the wallet was closed, they were scrambling. Madison finally showed up in person Saturday morning. I was at the new apartment, bare walls, no pictures yet. Just silence and clean air. She didn't knock. Just waited by the door until I opened it. She looked exhausted. No makeup, hoodie, eyes red like she hadn't slept in days. I didn't know it got that bad, she said. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I let her speak. No interruptions. I owed her nothing, but I was curious. Curious what story she'd tell. They leaned on me, she continued. Everyone needed something. I didn't know how to say no, and I thought we were fine. You never said anything. I laughed once, short, bitter. You didn't ask. She stepped inside, looked around. Is this where you live now? For now. It's cold. It's quiet. She nodded like she understood. Then she reached into her coat and pulled out another envelope. I brought this. Everything I took. Every transfer. Every payment I approved in your name. I itemized it. I took the envelope, placed it on the counter, unopened. Why now? I asked. Her voice cracked. Because I finally believe you're not coming back. She was right. I wasn't. She cried, right there in the hallway. Not loud sobs. Just silent, trembling grief. The kind you feel when the damage is too big to fix and too personal to excuse. I didn't love them more than you, she whispered. No, but you loved what they gave you. The image. The chaos. The distraction. She nodded once. Didn't argue. That was new. I ruined us, she said. I didn't reply. She left a minute later, envelope still on the counter. No hug. No kiss. No promises. Just gone. The following week, my lawyer processed the asset separation. The court didn't take long. Once the fraud was documented, it was over. She kept her car. Some clothes. Whatever brand deals hadn't dropped her yet. Everything else. Gone. The best part? No courtroom drama. Just clean signatures and silence. Exactly how I wanted it. 3 weeks later, I got invited to a family dinner. Not mine, hers. Her mother emailed. Subject line, let's make amends. She said things had gotten out of hand, that the family regretted the tone of that night, that Madison was deeply sorry, that they all wanted to sit down, clear the air. I didn't respond. A few days after that, her brother sent a DM on LinkedIn of all places. Said he admired how I handled the situation. Asked if I was open to coffee, just business talk. I archived the message without a second thought. Funny how they called me invisible until I took everything away. Now, they were trying to remember my name. Madison tried once more. She called from a new number, left a message. Said she was starting fresh. Asked if I could ever see us at least being friends. She paused before the last sentence. You weren't just the provider, she said. You were the only adult in the room. I deleted it. Not out of anger, but because I didn't need it. Not anymore. I had moved. Not just physically, mentally, financially. The apartment became a condo. Then I flipped it. Took the profits and started a consultancy firm. Lean, tight, mine. Clients came fast. Word spread. Turns out, when you walk away from chaos with receipts, people notice. People respect quiet power, especially when it's deliberate. And now? Now I sleep 8 hours a night without dreaming of arguments I never won. I wake up to no noise, no manipulation. Just quiet. Clean air. A coffee mug that's mine. A bank account with one name on it. Theirs was a family that mistook silence for weakness, that thought generosity had no spine. They were wrong. They thought I wouldn't leave because I never raised my voice, because I did the dishes, paid the bills, smiled through every insult like it bounced off me. But all they did was mistake patience for submission. They didn't realize I was watching. I always was. And the moment I stopped being useful, I stopped being theirs. The best part? I didn't burn anything down. I just turned off the faucet. No more checks. No more cosigns. No more cleaning up messes for people who thought I was furniture. I didn't need revenge. I needed clarity. And I got it. You don't have to explode to win. Sometimes all it takes is a pen, a signature, and the power to say no. Now, they're still calling. But I don't answer. Because I'm not angry anymore. I'm just done.